Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 63. In the last episode we made a start on chapter 8 and we found out that the Child Protection Services wasn't going to do anything because Satoko was a bit of a brat when she was younger and phoned them up and it was all fake and now they want help. But we'll see how that turns out because Satoko doesn't want the help anyway, so we have to try and get through to her, right? Looks like we're still in school. Okay, why don't we all have lunch? Meep. Ah, it's been a while since it's been all 5 of us. It has. This really is how it has to be. Yeah, it has to be the whole gang. Here. Come on, you two, Kai-chan. Bring your desk over. Sadako brought her own desk over as well, grinning broadly. She's loving it. Even knowing nothing had been resolved, this exchange was pleasant and made me remember how fun it used to be. I can't have Rika making a bento for me forever. No, I don't mind. I have fun making your bento. Rika-chan's such a good girl. Having such a good friend must be so reassuring. I put in the big steak, and Sadako puts in the burnt stuff. So if it was just Sadako, it would be so sad, so very sad. Nipa. I take it back. Well, she's Rika-chan after all. Rika-chan's lovely, okay? Don't you abuse her. Hey, come on, look. I've got omelette rice today. Omelette rice? That sounds good. Mushrooms and stuff are delicious. Delicious? How? I say it every time, but your craftsmanship is splendid. You could become a wife whenever and not have a problem. A wife? Eating a wife? Eating a... What? Hell, she finds the creepiest things cute. Using the word wife is totally forbidden around Renna. Please don't say it again. Yeah, not allowed, Satoko. I'll think about what I've done. A little. Even she knows she's done something wrong. By the way, what's in the lunch, Mion? It looks different again today. We're all waiting in anticipation. Oh, what's it going to be? It's a rich assortment of side dishes left over from what my uncle brought last night. The stew looks really great, huh? The colour of the radishes too. Really good, right? I don't like radish very much. Not that I've had it very often, maybe once, but... Wow! It looks delicious. Stew tastes best when it's left overnight. This looks like it would be really good. And so, there'll be none left for Satoko. I'll eat it all and tell you what I think, so just be quiet and watch. Okay. Oh, what was that? Hand over my portion too. Elbow punch, headbutt. I'll use my knees too. Oh. At close range like this, my advantage is unwavering. And then she's got her traps for distance. You know, she's amazing at fighting. Kaichi-san, the daikon in your portion tastes really good. What's a daikon? Daikon. Damn it. Coming right for me from the start and using a combo attack. How humiliating. This little exchange, how long had it been? It looked like they'd ended up going with the wait and see approach, but maybe her uncle had realised he'd gone a little too far and would dial it back now. Maybe. If her treatment improved a little, would that be a good thing? Satoko was grinning wider than I'd ever seen as she chomped down on a mouthful of the daikon she'd plundered from me. Did it really taste that good? Satoko was somewhat cute like that, and just as I'd done many times, I grabbed her head and started petting it. Catch. Smack, flip-flop, clatter-clatter. I remember this bit. Huh? Satoko-chan? It was so sudden that for a moment I didn't know what had happened. The back of my hand was stinging. I went to pet Satoko's head, and then she hit my hand. What's wrong, Satoko? Satoko was scratching at her head, as though a pimple or something had appeared on it and become itchy. It was so sudden and so unprovoked that I didn't understand what happened. What's wrong, Satoko? At some point, her body had been covered in a thin layer of sweat, and her breathing had turned ragged. When I pet her head, did she not like it? Was that what it meant? But she always likes being petted. Hey, did you just like being petted? Once again, slowly, I held out the palm of my hand and brought it close to Satoko's head. The instant the palm of my hand touched her head, there was a shock like static electricity, and Satoko began to howl. Yeah! Oh shit. Thud, slam. She grabbed my arm in both hands, and as if flinging off a snake trying to cling to her, as if trying to throw away something dirty, she threw it violently. It happened too suddenly for me to react. I hit the desk behind me and both it and I fell to the floor. The classroom fell deathly silent. As Satoko bellowed, it sounded like she was in the throes of death, and she unsteadily backed away. Ugh! Then she threw up the food she'd just eaten. She vomited it all back up. Splish, splat. The sound of Satoko's vomit hitting the floor rang through the classroom. Are you okay, Satoko? You seem sick. Yeah. I reached out a hand and she swatted it away with all her might. Keiichi's not learning, is he? With such extreme strength that I fell onto the floor again. Satoko put both hands on her head as though protecting it, groaned some more, and took a few steps back. And then she began swinging both hands around. Students in nearby seats were forced to evacuate. She grabbed anything within reach. Bento boxes, chairs, threw them, tossed them, flung them about. Wait, stop it, Satoko. What's wrong with you? Eee. She screamed out as if Mion's words had caused her physical pain. No one spoke a word to her. All the students were withdrawing behind us, leaving Satoko alone in the corner of the classroom. Around her, their desks and chairs all over the floor. Bento lay scattered. It was terrible. All I could hear was Satoko's ragged breaths and the voices of the cicadas. Ah. I'm sorry. The strings of tension loosened around Satoko, and maybe she suddenly grew scared of her own actions because she started trembling and gave a word of apology. But nobody knew just who that apology was directed towards. So for now, I decided to answer as everyone's representative. No, it's fine. Are you all right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, our words didn't match each other at all. Satoko hugged her shoulders, and back she went. Bang! She ran to the locker with the cleaning supplies in it. Even that made her give a little yelp. The impact caused the bucket atop the locker to fall, making a loud sound, and that scared Satoko most of all. She almost jumped out of her skin, grabbing a bunch of the curtain in her hands. Nobody spoke to her. They could only look, not even remembering to blink. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. Satoko? What on earth? I stood up, took a step away from everyone, and approached Satoko. Oh, God. What happened? I said, I don't know. You're wrong, please stop. Just calm down. Satoko, do you know who I am? No more. I hate this. Every time I took a step forward, she grasped the curtains more tightly and cried out. Satoko, it's me. It's Keiichi. Don't you recognize me? I would never ever hurt you. No. Come on, calm down. It's alright, I'm your friend. Help me. I don't want to be scared, it feels bad. No, I don't. Suddenly my shoulders were grabbed, and I was dragged backward. It was Rena. Sorry, Keiichi-kun. You get a little farther back. After pulling me back, she ran towards Satoko in my place. It's okay, Satoko-chan. There's nothing to be scared of. Please don't worry. No more. No more of that. Nini. Help me. Nini, help me. Wah. As she gripped the curtains and kept calling for Nini, she continued to wail about being forgiven for something, and to be saved from something. What is this? Ugh. Mion gnashed her teeth and groaned, and there were tears falling from her firmly closed eyes. What the hell? What is this? Didn't this all come to an end yesterday? Weren't we supposed to go back to our old lives? Mion. Ugh. Crash. There was a crazy sound. Rena had taken the cleaning supply locker and kicked it down to the ground. Everyone stood surprised at Rena's unexpected act of brutality. After that, Rena embraced the bawling Satoko from behind and started crying with her, stifled. Rena, what's wrong? Sorry. Keiichi-kun, be quiet for a minute. What is it now? What happened? What did Satoko tell you? What did you hear? Shut the hell up! I told you to shut your mouth, asshole! Uh-oh. Rena's raw, hostile emotion hit me like a brick. It was no more than a momentary howl of emotion for Rena, but it was more than that for me. She had shown me what was behind all that emotion, what was in her heart. Oh, Satoko-chan. No, 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 no more, no more. Forgive us. We couldn't do anything for you. Forgive us. Wah! Nini. Nini. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive us for being unable to do anything. Rena's words made me feel as though the blood vessels in the back of my head were suddenly all turning to ash. My vision grew distant, blurred with grey, and the world lost its colour. I thought we could save Satoko, but though I knew it'd be the sooner the better, I thought there was no time limit for doing that. I never even dreamed that we could be too late. I'd be making a huge mistake. I thought Satoko could be hurt, but never that she'd break. It was such a huge mistake. People, they break. Thinking that they don't is absolutely absurd. We needed to save Satoko. We needed to save her before she broke. That fatal lapse in awareness had brought this on. Whose fault was it? That went without saying. Mine, no. Ours. We all took on the duty of saving Satoko, but we were negligent to the point of laziness. In that sense, this was the inevitable result. Even if this didn't happen today, and it happened tomorrow, or the day after, or next week, we would have just sat around doing nothing until that day. So this was the obvious result. I slumped down to my knees, just as Mion and Rika-chan had done, and I too closed my eyes tight, and I couldn't stop myself from sobbing. They all feel like they've done nothing and been useless. What's all this noise about? Wait, what's happened? The teacher came and her face screwed up at the terrible spectacle before her. The instant she realized the teacher was here, Satoko went through another complete change. She wiped her face with the curtains, and like nothing happened, smiled. Hojo-san? What on earth is going on here? Ho ho ho! I just got into a little squabble with Rena-san is all. We went a little crazy over our lunches, right? Rena didn't nod in reply. But then, since Satoko wished it, she nodded without strength. The rest of the class couldn't keep up with her extreme changes. We all just stared in a daze. Oh, it was just a little horseplay. I scared everyone out of their wits. Satoko would probably sweep the whole thing under the rug. For what? Her heart is torn to pieces, so what else? You wanted your Nini to help, didn't you? But unfortunately for you, Satoshi doesn't ever intend on coming back. It's never that easy. He won't just conveniently show up and save you. So you don't have to wait for him anymore. You can cry, beg for help, and you can run away. Whoa! We can't do anything, Mion suddenly said. She spoke then, those few words that had tormented me countless times. Those words were a spell, and when I heard them, my whole body suddenly regained its calm. My emotions all slipped away like they'd never been there, like a wave departing. And then the world's colour flipped inside out. They have indeed. Oh, that music! Sort of Phoenix Wright-ish. My field of view expanded. My head grew remarkably cold, and I felt like my mind's volume had grown even wider than the classroom we were in. At the time, my soul was doubtlessly no longer in the small, petty vessel of my head, but floating in the air a little bit above it. It was a mysterious feeling of release. I broke free of the cramped confines of my skull, and stretched out my roots in all directions as far as I wanted to. It was a strange feeling, and one I'd never felt ever before, an odd sense of exhilaration. My sharpened senses caused me to transcend. My mind was sharper than a knife's edge, and I immediately decided that spending the time to let myself be crushed with grief would be an absolute waste. I erased all the garbage information from my brain. I expelled the pointless emotions presenting obstacles to action. Mion, you curse it all you want. Curse our powerlessness as much as you want. Huh? If I could have taken back what had happened by crying about it, I'd have cried all day. But the fact was, this was how things had turned out. I couldn't take back what had happened. The top priority then would be to prevent the situation from worsening further, and to sever the chains of misfortune. Until today, I'd been looking at things so narrow-mindedly, I could scarce believe it. To save Satoko, the only thing to do was to save Satoko. That's the only thing I thought about. I didn't allow myself to realise the most basic, direct, and certain way of removing the source of Satoko's unhappiness. No, actually, I realised it yesterday. Here it comes! But as for the means, I'd relied on some stupid curse from some dumb deity, never considered carrying the task out myself. I would obliterate Satoko's uncle. Keiichi's gonna kill him! There were plenty of ways to do it. This was a task that held infinite methods. Ironically, the method of saving Satoko required mostly money, but the method of killing that man pretty much took no money at all. I could kill him with the least amount of investment. The least amount of money suited him. It was only the weight of his life. I kept eliminating needless, worthless information from my head, replenishing it with only the knowledge I'd need to achieve my goal. I used every cell in my brain to think about how I'd kill him. The way I killed him didn't matter. I would allow any method from whatever time and whatever country, as long as it ended in a quick and certain death. If I were to have an additional condition, it would be to not get caught. Course? Removing him was an act designed to return the peaceful times we had with Satoko. If I was arrested in exchange for the removal, then we might as well have killed each other. With only him gone, we'd go back to our normal lives. That was my supreme objectives, my ultimate goal. Kill him, definitely. But definitely don't leave evidence either. Two alternatives at odds with one another. The condition of not leaving a trace back to me automatically narrowed the number of murder methods. No witnesses was an absolute must. Fortunately, given the right time in Hinamizawa, there would be nobody around. I mentally reconstructed the land around Satoko's house. The number of pedestrians different at different times. The movement algorithm of the neighbours. Would I lure him out or charge at him? What would my weapon be? When and where would I carry this out? Where needed to be somewhere I wouldn't leave a trace. When needed to be as soon as possible for Satoko's safety without wasting even a millisecond. This is absurd, completely absurd. When I thought about it this way, it struck me how easy the act of killing was. If I could leave evidence, if I was just going to kill him, anyone could easily turn into a murderer. But our reason prevented that. It told us doing so would get us arrested for sure. In the end, being arrested by the police was the final thing preventing people from committing homicide. Absurd. If we went all the way out into the very middle of the ocean, you wouldn't leave any trace at all. Anyone would drop those they hated into the depths if they knew that. It was all too easy to simply remove him. I could leave class right now, grab a metal baseball bat or something from the schoolyard, go to his house and attack him. Ugh. Estimated time would be 25 minutes. If I wanted us to kill each other, it wouldn't even be minutes. I could do it in 1500 seconds. I knew just how much his continued existence depended on me. He was nothing. I could expel him from this world within just 1500 seconds after making up my mind. By the way, I really like that colour combination. It's the colour combination they used for the manga. At least over here. From when I decided what to do, he only had 1500 seconds. Actually, if I ran full speed to his house, that number would go down even further. But he was alive. He was still part of this world at this very moment, having torn Satoko's body and mine to shreds. Why? Because I was letting him live. I was permitting him to live, so he was alive. If I rescinded that permission, he would be evacuating this mortal coil within 1500 seconds. You think I'd let you live to breathe another 1500 more seconds of air? I'm taking that permission back, right here, right now. You better thank me for letting you live until today. However, I actually need more than 1500 seconds. I'm not just going to end you, getting back our old lives is far more important. It's only you I'll be cleanly cutting out of this world. They won't find a culprit. I'll forget that I dirtied my hands on the likes of you as naturally as I brush my teeth before bed. So to do that, I'll make a special exception for you and give you more than 1500 seconds. Lucky! I'll give you special permission to keep on living as you have until I can construct the perfect plan for your murder. Wait, Keiichi. You can't let that time go to waste. Yeah, I know. I'll kill him quickly. I'll remove him with certainty. I won't misuse any time to think of a plan. Think back. Tomorrow is Watanagashi, isn't it? Last year on the night of Watanagashi, her aunt died. Her head was busted open by some deviant, and her brains splattered everywhere. That's it! He's someone who deserves to be given death on the night of Watanagashi. Yep, Watanagashi isn't going to be the fun event that we had in the last two arcs. It's going to be the night of all the darkness and evil that comes through, through this series. Hey, Oishiro-sama. You call yourself a guardian, but you didn't protect Satoko. Cursing Satoko's family for the damn stuff is your own business, but now you've made Satoko unhappy when she didn't have anything to do with it. I, Keiichi Maibara, hereby denounce you, the guardian deity of Hinamizawa, a failure. We don't need you. Go back to the deepest, darkest part of your shrine this year. Besides, if you had just cursed and killed both her aunt and her uncle last year, none of this would have ever happened. The curse this year, it's not on you. It'll be the one deciding. It won't be the 3 families controlling the serial deaths behind the scenes. No, not some vague people who I can't tell if they're buffoons or not. This time, I'll be the one to deliver divine judgment. So don't get in my way, just watch. Stay quiet and watch. I'll obliterate him. I'll wipe him off the face of the earth. I will stomp out his very existence. Go away, disappear, and die. I'll tear your heart apart just like you did to Satoko. I'll have your blood as payment. Whoa! Oh. Oh, Keiichi's finally lost it. Keiichi-kun, you alright? Rena, Mion, and Rika-chan were looking after me. Had I fallen to the floor? You surprised us. You suddenly fell down. Were you having a nightmare? Well, maybe. You were moaning. Shut it. Quit squeaking at me like that. Uh-oh. Eep. My friends gave a start and backed away. What? Ren and the others exchanged glances, unsure of what to say, and stood confused for a few moments. Was that your voice, Keiichi-kun? Of course it was. Rena gulped firmly and opened her mouth. For a second, Keiichi-kun, your eyes were really scary. You've never done that, Rena. My eyes? Probably just a trick of the light. Don't waste my time. I'm not mistaken. I've never seen those kind of eyes before. What were these guys talking about? They've all been too scared of me lately. You're Keiichi Maibara-kun, right? What was Rena saying? Who else do I look like except Keiichi Maibara? The look I gave her seemed to speak quite eloquently to those irritated thoughts. She understood and quickly apologized. I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Oh wow, that was such a good part. It's full of tension and everything. I loved it. Now, this is how the rest of the arc is gonna go. It's time for Keiichi to try, and stop the uncle. Okay, we got some new tips. Ooh, 1,500 seconds. Yep, that sounds about right. Let's have a little look, shall we? What was it? It was these two, wasn't it? Yeah, emergency. June the 18th, 1983. Abuse issues regarding Satoko Hojo. Urgent. We propose that Satoko Hojo must be taken into immediate custody based on the items below. 1. Family situation. Life with adoptive father, who recently returned to Hinamizawa, has already turned disastrous, and she is currently subject to unendurable physical and mental abuse from the father. Child Consultation Center's response. A child probation officer was dispatched yesterday on the 17th from the Prefecture Welfare Office, but because of the 77 case, changed to continue coaching and cautionary action. Unfortunately, the consultation office head does not properly understand the situation. 3. Status of concerned child. Child already appears to be suffering from an outbreak of something close to neurosis or manic depression. If her unstable pubescent mind is negatively stimulated by stress, it will put her development of a healthy body and mind at risk. This cannot be allowed to continue from a humane standpoint. 4. Allegations made to the family court. We propose, based on the above items, that Satoko Hojo should immediately be taken into protective custody. She should be secured temporarily under emergency allegations to the family court under Article 28. We request emergency coordination between all related agencies. That was about this actual one, wasn't it? What's going on now? They're gonna do something, right? D23 number 44. Not sure what that means, but okay. Fukujisho, D23 number 44, something something, 1977. Child name. Okay, this is the one in the past. Satoko Hojo, something years old. Residence, Hinamizawa Village, Shishiban. Consultation circumstances. Telephone SOS from child of child abuse. Abuse situation. Child claims she is being physically abused by her adopted father. Family structure. Circle marks abusers. Adoptive father, real mother, older brother, child in question. Note. Adoptive father and real mother entered family registry in 1992. The child is the daughter of her mother's previous husband. Child Consultation Center's response. On the day of the child's telephone consultation, the center called the child's school and asked of her situation. On that day, the child welfare officer, on duty, visited the child's house and conducted an interview. The adoptive father sincerely listened to instruction and agreed to take child-raising workshops in the city from now on. As part of the suggested coaching, the center will continue to observe the situation. Other notes. As a result of numerous counseling sessions at the city's education consultation office regarding the child, we learned there was a high possibility the cause of the child's excessive distrust towards her adoptive father was a result of a lack of communication. The abuse she claimed hadn't actually taken place. She had made a false report to distance herself from her adoptive father. We heard about this in the main part, didn't we? In the main game. Below is a note written in pencil by the person on duty at the time. The problem appeared to be more with the daughter. Chief Investigator F at the city's education consultation office said that most of her stories of abuse were likely fabrications. They decided to shift the focus of their coaching to the child. Be cautious not to take everything the child says as truth. She's a liar. But they're going to do something on the emergency one, right? Okay. So, this has been Greenie XI. I hope you've enjoyed what I thought was a pretty good episode this time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit when we move on to Chapter 9. And things are about to unravel, I'm sure of it. It's gonna get good. See you again in a bit, folks.